So these are some of my last glory days, because I got this really cool 5.8 mil account into Kyber 1, and not only into Kyber 1, but into the 3700s of skill rating. So that's something I'm pretty proud of. So let's talk about how did I manage to do that. Well, I think that the first point that really matters is roster building. So this is an account that's like 6 mil GP, right? But if we start it by power, I actually have Lord Vader, Maul, and JMK Cat available to me. I think that this makes a huge difference in regards to how I can see most matchups. The way I've been doing my strategy has been involving setting JMK Cat south and Lord Vader, Maul north. So you always have to use one of those counters decently well. In regards to the current weeks that I've been doing a bit better, and why I managed to get a couple of 3-0s the last 2 weeks of the last GAC, and that's why my skill rating also went up. I'd say inflated a little bit, but hey, it's inflated in a good way. I'm pretty proud of that. It was trying to set the anti-SLKR team, and I think most people would just try to run SLKR at Kyber 2, Kyber 1 type tier, and run like a JMK Cat mirror, or they're comfortable enough running GML, but then they use JMK Cat up top against Lord Vader Maul. So it was a gamble in regards to how much offense they had, and me trusting that they wouldn't go full defense. But then, even then, I'd still keep Supreme Leader Kylo for offense to give me a little bit of extra versatility if they went too hard on defense. And I actually did decently well against some very sturdy defenses. So, like, some of those, like 4 GL defense in the South Zone, and, you know, still doing well. Another very key aspect is knowing how to counter the Executor with 2 shots. So I didn't have a 5-star echelon back then, but I had the knowledge of how to time out, burn cooldowns by having Sarge and Endurance to, you know, burn those cooldowns, and then finishing off with the Separatist fleet, with the Malevolence, TIE Fighter, all of that stuff, and, you know, using Gear 8 Spy and Gear 7 Sunfac is pretty hardcore, but doable if you play it right, which is basically just hit Xanadu with basics, call Spy, nuke Xanadu, and, you know, keep surviving the rest of the battle. They kind of, like, the beginning is nowhere near as rough as if you are going for a 1-shot. So, you know, you admit the 2-shot, it's fine. Then I had, like, a couple of other fleets, and pretty much that was what was going on. So yeah, that kind of really helped with my strategy as well. Another cool thing that really matters a lot is always mods. So for example, being able to afford, I don't know what the hell is this. I guess Darth Revan is still 350 plus? Yeah. So having 4 characters that are 350 plus aside from GLs absolutely matters. Having my 4th Galactic Legend at below 6 mil GP absolutely matters. So that's like a couple of ways that I was also able to squeeze out this like low GP type stuff into doing well in 5v5. 3v3 is going to happen now. It's going to be imminent that this account is just going to drop and tank the rankings a whole lot. But hey, I'm really proud of how well it did encounters in 5v5, so... yeah. So another thing that I can add into this is the way that I look into my matchmaking. So for example, there is, you know, for example, you want to go over to .gg, and .gg has this GAC history that you can see of your battles, and it will show you what your opponent's defenses were like. This is pretty much the tool that everyone uses. However, there is this really nice Discord bot called Omega Bot that will show you a whole graphic, and that will list you the amount of teams that people were using for their defenses on a specified number of seasons. So for example, if you're looking over the whole last season, you can see what kind of tendencies they have. You can see what kind of teams they tend to struggle on over time. Now, I'll be very honest, I actually didn't use this data much to my advantage in this account, but that's something that will absolutely help. And then the fact that I will play on other accounts, and I know a lot of matchups on how they go in 5v5 also really helps with being able to, you know, just rock it on a lower GP account and pulling those out, right? Another cool thing, I guess, that I didn't really speak about, but is the lack of Omicrons that I also have, at least the GAC ones. I think that, you know, if I'm fighting a roster with 8.5 mil GP or something, I'm not going to win because I have 3 Omicrons instead of, you know, 1. And that's really the way that goes. So instead, I just have Territory War Omicrons because, you know, I actually think I can make a difference in TW by having these, which I I like to say I do. But so I just have the Zam Omicron. The Zam Omicron for me works as my counter to Darth Revan more often than not, or like a mirror match. And the way I use that is by having, you know, Boss, Grief, Zam, Mando, and then I put in a 5th character. Usually I had been doing Boba, but now I just took Fennec to Relics, so I can just start using Fennec. You want to make sure that you have your counters kind of set up. Like, for example, I see an Ami Qui-Gon, I know I'm going to Bad Batch it. I see, like, an Ami Zam, I know I'm going to GG it. If I see a Rey, I'm going to gas it. So there's, like, a couple of counters that, you know, sometimes they won't always work, but... it's really important to know what kind of stuff you can get away with. Like, for example, if you see a Lord Vader team, having SLKR, Watt, and then, you know, Night Sisters can be a really nice way of beating those teams. And I think most people between Kyber 1 don't really have, like, an anti-SLKR comp, so that really works out. Yeah, so that type of stuff would be the way I'd work. And then in regards to this stuff as well, you know, just keep doing your roster progress the way you should, with very focused gear on characters that will make a huge difference. Like, for example, in this scenario for me, building Sith Eternal was a useful unit because he's going to provide me an extra Galactic Legend. I don't really know what I'm going to do with him yet, but it's an extra GL. He's surely going to do something. And, you know, he's pretty much free real estate after you do Lord Vader and the Executor requirements. So yeah, you know, that's kind of the stuff where this account is at. I hope to add Jedi Knight Luke to it very soon. And if there's any questions on how, you know, you're able to win and punch up against matchups of people having 2 mil more GP and more Omicrons, I'm happy to make like a whole video answering that. So if you have any questions or anything that you want to leave down below, do leave. And yeah, if you want to see more videos like this or like the sequel to this, let me know. And yeah, that you would see if you subscribe to the channel, because you could see the part 2, right? And you could also like the video in case you find the information any useful. These are my current projects, and yeah, thank you so much for tuning in, and have a good time. Have a great rest of your day. See ya.